Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. They don't wanna see me care. Anytime I make some progress, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared. I walk a straight path, not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't see your face at any place that I go. I know you hate that. I've been doing fine, I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb, and I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines. So I won't give up, I'm gonna make it to the top. I don't care what's in my way, I swear I'm never gonna stop. I could fall flat on my face and I swear I will get back up, cause I don't deserve a thing and the road ahead is tough. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy 8-Bit, and we are back at y'all with a brand new video. Give me 1 second and I will get everything plugged in for you guys. How y'all been? How y'all been? Gotta work the audio controls back in, so give me 1 second. Yo, DJ, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. Welcome back. Just trying to get everything over here rocking and rolling for you guys. So, where is my audio for the Elgato? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Um, hmm. Is that rolling? Yeah, it's not even piping through the Elgato. I don't know if that's creating echo on y'all's end, so I'm gonna turn that back off. Can you hear me, DJ? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can. What is going on now? It's always something, I swear. Okay, so that's going to default and it shouldn't. So I found the issue. So output needs to be here, input needs to be here. But I still don't hear anything. Okay. That is crazy. There we go. Okay, I just had to reset the game. So we should be going like a bat out of hell now. All right. Sorry about the delay, fellas. Crystal clear. Okay, cool. Yeah, it was the game. It was the game audio that that wasn't coming through. So, but appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, brother. How you been? How you been? Yo, my guy Nova gonna come out here and do the damn thing. You know how good the graphics used to look on Nova's second skill, and now they just look like dog water? But I suppose with all of the screen clutter that's going on these days, like this is just a welcome. This is sort of a welcome thing. Being able to see what you're actually doing. You know, to taking off toward the screen, like taking off towards a brother. That's diabolical. Kind of makes me wonder, will we be seeing something for Nova, Sam Alexander pretty soon? Would be interesting if we did. Although I think they should do him and Richard Rider at the same time. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. We should have won our alliance conquest. We were able to make the comeback victory. And there is just not enough conquest is over. So it's just not enough, or wasn't enough time for them to really do anything. And we had taken enough. We had taken all but sector 4. No, I take that back. We had taken all but sector 7. Oh, so they came and snatched 4 from me. Oh. Still wasn't enough though. Because we still had, 10 points working? No, I take that back. We had 10, 12 points working for us every go round, whereas they only were able to accumulate another 10. And really, had I taken 7, they wouldn't have been able to even get 4. Because if I were to able to pull up the characters that I still have available, I still have a lot of strong characters available. I didn't have to use Sentry, I don't think. I didn't use Kang. I didn't use Null. So I still had a lot of my tier 3 natives in reserve. So that actually worked out pretty damn good That way, if I needed to make some power moves there at the end in order to help some folks out, I kind of could do that. But it does not appear to be necessary. Also, everybody was able to get in the 30 attacks that participated. So that was also good. So, gonna see a pretty good smattering of tier 4 materials. Oh, we're not doing that. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick up here on these boost points and jump right on in to a GBR so we can use these jokers up. Then we'll sound general distress. Sound general quarters. Infinite. Long time no see. I've been thinking it's on the wall that Tier 5 is coming. Notice they make Tier 4 mats more accessible in all GBR books. Yeah, they did that a while ago, Infinite. So, hang on. Let me see if I can find this. But a while ago, Terry Lee came out and said that they were not planning to do, and Terry Lee is like the lead game developer for Marvel Future Fight. But he did a interview in Korea a while ago, and I'm gonna see if I can find it. Let's see. I thought I had it bookmarked. Oh, my bad. Here we go. I'll shoot the invite back out. But yeah. Let's get. So it's a couple of things. One, I don't really think on Netmarble's page, they're really pushing this game much anymore. Interesting that King of Fighters AFK is still being advertised heavily, even though I think that game sunsetted already. Meanwhile, Future Fight is all these years in, and you know they push us to the all the way in the back of the back, on the side of the back, right? Yeah, you actually have to search for it to find it on their page. That's wild. That it's not under the game tabs anymore. But I want to say that interview was either sometime in 2025 or late 2024. All right, what's happening? What's happening? Oh, what's happening? We got another Mephisto out there. Okay. Oh, that is right, DJ. Can we come back? Just wasn't enough road there at the end for your boy, but we were making headway though. Yeah, I'm sitting over here trying to fucking find this shit and put up a good fight. Okay, we were able to get a book. Hang on, cause I know I bookmarked this shit. Um, oh, that's Thanos Vibs. Okay. Uh, Let me see if I can do a web search and find it. Yeah, here it is. Okay, I thought I had this damn thing bookmarked, but let me do that now. But on the Netmarble Insider or Netmarble Inside page, here I'll pull this up. This would have been 2025 April, so a while ago. But this is Division Director Terry Lee, and he is, for lack of better terms, the HNIC over there at as far as Marvel Future Fight is concerned. And they asked him, it's a long Q&A here. Curious about where the major regions are that play the game, which countries have the most players, yada yada. A lot of filler stuff, right, in this interview. But if you scroll down, they asked about Future Fight and often released theme updates released around major Marvel series, right? But as we well know, this is not happening so much no more because of the lack of production and honestly just lackluster shit coming out of the MCU. Let's see, there have been so many characters introduced in 10 years, so this was for the 10-year anniversary. Let's see, they asked about Luna Snow, certainly one of the most iconic characters. How was she created? Like I said, very, very fillery sort of stuff, right? Do you have any plans for a major overhaul of the game? For example, a remaster or version 2.0? At the moment, rather than undertaking a large-scale overhaul like a remaster, we are focusing on continuously adding new game modes and improving convenience features to make the game experience more enjoyable for our players. So they talk about epic quests and this sort of stuff. They did ask about skill canceling, which I thought was interesting. Mini mobile collectible RPGs we have today are moving towards minimizing player fatigue, but Marvel Future Fight still emphasizes the appeal of manual control, such as skill cancel. Do you plan to maintain this approach moving forward? Manual controls are a core element of an RPG game experience, so we intend to continue emphasizing that aspect. However, so yeah. Now, this I kind of have a problem with because, and I know it's a little off topic because you asked about tier 5, but I'm long an advocate of or against this whole autoplay shit, right? They call it player fatigue. I'm like, word, that's what we calling this shit now? So just so I can have some shit running on my phone, burning up my fucking battery that I don't want to, like, I swear. You new age motherfuckers are lazy. Goddamn, you're lazy. Are you too lazy to play the game? Yeah. So I'm just gonna leave that one right there, bro. Let's see. What can we expect from the 10-year anniversary? Will there be any online, offline event as well? Yeah. Now here we go. Could you share the could you share the mid and long term update roadmap? Are there any hints you can give us about upcoming characters, uniforms? Also, are there any plans to introduce higher tier growth content, such as tier 5 specifically? Right? And this is official ask of demand, right? So, we recognize the game can appear complex and challenging for new players, so we are currently reviewing several improvements to enhance accessibilities. As for future content, we plan to continue releasing various themed updates without giving too much away. We can tease a highly requested theme for last year is finally on the way, so please look forward to it. I forget what that theme was. Regarding higher tier growth content like tier 5, while it's been about 3 years since tier 4 was introduced at the time last year. This is 3 years ago. Now we're on 4, right? Going into 5. So it's been about 3 years since tier 4 was introduced. Many heroes are still at tier 3 or even at tier 2. Because of this, we do not have any immediate plans to add tier 5 or similar higher growth content. Okay? So this was last year. No plans on the books, right? So there was another interview that they did with some more developers from the game. And I believe I could probably find it in here if I looked hard enough. But essentially what they said was, and they asked this right at the end with the tier 5 stuff, that's wild. They asked, hey, what's going on, Bubba? Welcome back, welcome back. They asked my guy, right? Not it wasn't Terry Lee as a part of that interview. It was another couple of, it was a couple more Asian gentlemen that were in there, right? And they asked a question similar to that, right? They weren't hinting nothing then either. So I think what what happened was they were so centered around this and this, right? Because if you notice, how many updates did we get like that were MCU themed, mostly to do with the Avengers, right? Well, they've hit those characters up, some of the most popular characters in Marvel, up so much at nauseum to now people aren't really trying to see another update with the Avengers. And you still got, folks in the game that have been needing a uniform forever. This is why we've been getting these sort of trickle out updates. In terms of the Avengers, we'll get a Captain America uniform one off. We'll get a Thor uniform one off, right? We'll probably get an Iron Man uniform one off, or maybe something to do with the Machine Team, right? Where they all get something similar to how they did the last time. But as far as something that's Avengers themed, right? They gave Black Widow the symbiote suit, right? That was a one off. And when I say one off, I mean not the update, but the uniform itself, right? It wasn't part of a bigger themed update around the Avengers. It was a one off. It was something out of the comics. It was so they had to pivot, I think. They probably had a lot of stuff planned. And with all of the cancellations of MCU projects and all of this stuff, I had to get back to the core, right? That would make the most sense to me. And it explains a lot. Like when we start looking at it through that lens, we used to get legendary battles out the wazoo. Those went away as the MCU project started to be less desirable, right? So they've been pivoting away from that for probably the last 4, maybe years or so. And then when that Jonathan Major shit happened, do you think that didn't affect Future Fight and the direction that the game was planning to go in? You see what I'm saying? So, looking at it through that broader lens, I still don't think they're ready to release Tier 5. There are currently, I think, 121 or so Tier 4s in the game. And my guy said, and this is the part that's important, right? It's not so much that we have many heroes that are still at Tier 3. That's a part of it. That's part of what's driving this. But the other part that's driving this is this second part, or even Tier 2, right? I mean, look at was it Phantom X? He's still stuck at Tier 2. Warpath, I believe, is still stuck at Tier 2. There are a few characters in there, right, that are still scraping that barrel that they've been having to throw awaken skills at like it's going out of style. Some of these characters, I would imagine that they had originally planned to Tier 3. But it's so cumbersome of a process Like, in a few of them, they could really switch. Like, yeah, they could give U.S. agents tier 3 skill, replace it with an awakened skill, and then give that tier 3 to someone else that's like more popular. You know what I mean? And I think they didn't originally plan it that way, but I think in retrospect, they kind of wish they had have planned it that way. Oh, Thanos is just being eternally freaking locked down. That's wild, bro. You know, and I'm watching these other world battle fights as they're going, and I am making some minor tweaks to characters behind the scenes you guys don't necessarily always see. It's wild that Thanos was just on the precipice like that for so long. And see, this is also why I think maybe, you know, if I'd have had Wasp in there instead of Jeff, I probably could have won that fight. Because Thanos isn't taking advantage of any of Jeff's buffs anyway. Only heroes can. So that's kind of the disadvantage of it. Is if you don't have heroes out there, it's like, it's kind of pointless. And this is why I think I'm getting washed so much. Maybe we put a destroyer can't take advantage of it at any rate. Let's do that. Hopefully, hopefully Hella is enough. But we may have to pull Hella and place her with Colossus. But see, she's a support, but then she's also a support that can buy time, which is so clutch. I think that's a huge understatement to her value. She's a support that can, because of her her undead passive, she can actually buy time. And then when she gets like that, she's buying even more time. So, yeah, that is actually clutch. those type disadvantage. Yeah. Yeah, freaking Wolverine. Two fucking debuffed characters. And see, the other thing that I find wild is when Destroyer outlasts Thanos. Right? I mean, Thanos can't hold up for shit. That might be who I need to pull because he is just so bad. Got that mythic riff ready. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. But yeah, Infinite. Tier 5, I would say we're probably looking because I've been doing a little bit of research. As best as I can tell, tier 5 did not, or tier 4 and tier 3 did not come with the anniversary or with Black Friday. So I don't think it's going to happen around those times. If I'm not mistaken, tier 3 came out on or about the same time as Infinity War. And then tier 4, as best as I can recall, see, tier 4 is a little more difficult because tier 4 was not associated with an MCU update the same way that tier 3 was. And I'm not sure about tier 2 because I wasn't here for the tier 2 initiative. But I want to say it was like around August or maybe even September. I know it was later in the year. It wasn't early in the year. Whenever tier 4 became a thing, right? So I don't think. Now, I tell you, if they want to go back to like dropping them with the MCU stuff, I think and see, this is the other thing too. They've been pushing back so many MCU projects, right? Before they kind of had definitive dates, but so much of this stuff has been changing left and right, front, back, and center, right? I mean, look at all this. I'm gonna pull this up on the mini, but look at all this. I blow this up so you guys can see. Yeah. Look at all this. Current status of Doctor Strange 3. Doctor Strange 3 is not currently prioritized for release by Marvel Studios. The focus is on other upcoming titles in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. The upcoming projects are, and this is old, Black Panther 3, Shang-Chi 2. Okay, Black Panther 3 hasn't released. But then when you look over here, expected release date, to be determined, to be determined. Spider-Man 5, to be determined. Blade, to be determined, which we now know has been canceled. Midnight Suns, and it's funny they got it spelled wrong. To be determined. X-Men movie 2028, Thunderbolt sequel, to be determined. Right? So that's actually wild. Right? But we'll do some more digging, and we'll see what we can find. But if I were a betting man and I had to if I were a betting man and I had to actually put a guess, I would say maybe the release of Doctor Strange 3. It's back 2024. Marvel Studios currently has untitled movie release dates set for February 13th and November 6th of 2026, with 2 more coming on July 23rd and November 5th, 2027. So maybe somewhere around July of 2027. So that's almost a year out. And that would kind of track. And they're saying it ought to be released before Secret Wars, which I'm not sure if that project got scrapped or not. Like I said, it's so difficult to look at the MCU and I think the name of the Doctor Strange movie is Time Runs Out, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so this is Yahoo. This isn't that old. Yeah, but the fact that this movie that we've known is supposed to be coming for a while now and still doesn't have a release date, I think that's very ominous. I think it's very telling. And I think it's also have some sort of it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that could have some effect on this game for updates that they had planned that are either no longer coming or that they've had to adjust scheduling in terms of, okay, when can we release this? And that has to suck because it's a lot of work that goes into the modeling and creating the moves and filling out the skill tree, of course, the character design and all of this. And I might be sitting on this update that I worked on. But because it's based around your bullshit, now I gotta figure out a whole nother game plan when I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking, man, I want to see what people are going to say when they see this thing. Right? Yeah, we got all of Valkyrie's gears to 29 as well. Let me jump in there and get mine in. Yeah, we gonna fix that dealer tag. Okay. So yeah, it's just a lot, bro. And I know everybody's clamoring for tier 5 right now, right? Personally, I'm not. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I'm not clamoring for it like how everybody else seems to be salivating. And it's because I remember, right? I remember. I remember what the P card system was like when they started with the crafted cards. And even before that, just acquiring premium cards, right? I remember what acquiring CTPs was like before crafting them. I remember what it was like in the beginning, early stages, getting a mighty, right? When we all thought, well, shit, having a mighty is just, hey, that's what it is. Because brilliants were so difficult to get. And still are to a degree, right? I remember how difficult it was to tier 3 a character. I still see how difficult it is even today to tier 4 a character. Right? So people will clamor for it. I say this guy right here, he had the right idea. He had the right idea. Mr. Lee. Shout outs to Mr. Terry Lee. He hit the nail on the head when my guy said, look here, man. We ain't done with tier 3 yet. We ain't done with tier 2 yet. What y'all talking about tier 5? And we still rolling out tier 4. A lot of characters without. So, in those famous words, be careful what you wish for it may come to pass. You know what I mean? And in the meantime, build as many tier 4s as you can. Take this advantage to, if you're at 40 or 50 or 60 tier 4s, to try and push to 70 or 80 or 90 tier 4s, 100 tier 4s, right? And then that way, when tier 5 hits, well, guess what? Most of your roster is already filled out. Plus, this isn't like a lot of those other, Cat told me the other day, oh, you're a gacha gamer. It's a gacha game. It's not really, in a sense. I'm not unlocking the same character, 15, 20 different times. I'm unlocking a character one time, and that character may have many different uniforms that I can or cannot purchase and equip. But it only requires me to build that character once, not, A tier, B tier, S tier, all of this stuff. But it's the same character though, but I got him in my roster 10 times. But see, all of these over here, they trash. That's a bit different. So and this is not that in that sense. That's why I love it. I've always hated games with that stupid fucking mechanic of, oh, this is A tier, but he's not as strong as a R tier or a S tier or an X tier or what the fuck is this shit? We got one character. Y'all treating him like Goku and 39 power-ups. Like, man, say. And a sensu bean, a bag full of them. A bag full of a sensu bean. Just like that. Like, nah, bruh. You gotta understand the animal you're dealing with. You can play or pass. And, the strategy that if anyone asks, I recommend would be clear out the gold cost uniforms first. Take your freebies. Pick wisely. We can talk about who and what and all of this stuff as far as specifics. But a good general rule of thumb in terms of building any character would be, if the character does not have a uniform, pick it up. If it does something substantial for the character. If it doesn't, you can pass on it. If you plan on pushing Shadowland at any point, I would say that uniform is probably going to be necessary at a particular point. Or not necessary, but it'll definitely make your life a lot easier if you're talking about pushing early levels and this sort of thing. So, trying to go get selectors and whatnot. It will definitely help bolster out your roster. So if you're trying to figure out, like, beyond the obvious, right? Like, oh well, should I get Noel's uniform or not? Should I get Sentry's uniform or not? You know, the no brainers are the no brainers, right? But then, and I would say, you know, for a new player, I would pass on Sentry, honestly. I would go after Noel first. He's a little more versatile. You can use him in PvE. And then if you get your hands on AV, you can use him in PvP. So he does offer some versatility there. Give me 1 second. I'm going to take a quick break and I will be right back. All right. Ooh. All right. We are back. Sorry about that. Trust me, I got myself too. Okay. I can actually come down on that a little bit more. Yeah. I completely lost my train of thought on what I was gonna come in and hit y'all with. But oh yeah, that's what it was. So I've been experimenting around in PvP a little bit with drastic density enhancement, or the other one. It's not Stark backing. It's the other one that gives you the shield. But mostly DDE. In a few of my PvP characters, for instance, as you can see, I'm still building it up with Destroyer. We also have it on Spidey as well. This might work better with the conquest, but I'm also seeing a little bit of dividends with this thing. And with things like the egg and Spidey's survivability, it would probably be a lot better if I had, a 4 or 5 star, 6 star artifact on him. So I could at least leverage that dodge. But unfortunately, fate has not been so kind to your boy. But I am seeing some dividends with it. I don't have it on all my tunes. For instance, Emma is still rocking Power of Angry Hulk. Magic is still rocking Power of Angry Hulk. Like a lot of them are still on that. Cap is still on Power of Angry Hulk. So but I've been wondering if I should experiment more and choose a more defensive type ISO set, because as you remember, it was a while back, but they rebalanced the defensive stat a while back, right? And I'm wondering if under that new stack, we don't see increased dividends, right, in terms of defenses. So, being able to leverage that, the reason why I bring it up, may be key in able to hang with some of these brilliant competitions, if that makes sense. Some of these 100 wall prop guys. Not saying you're gonna win, not saying you're gonna win every fight, but you know, the fights that you can't survive in, you're gonna lose 100% of the time. So like you used to be able to get away with glass cannoning these guys in certain situations, but that's kind of long since passed because the stats are too high, and the defenses and the ways that you can defend and protect yourself beyond just being in an iframe are so vast these days. I mean, you got dodge, you got guaranteed dodge, you got giga dodge, you got invincibility, which has been around forever. You got damage immunity, which has been around forever. You got all different sorts of kinds of shields, from ones on various CTPs to, shields on things like drastic density enhancement, which, ISO's been around forever as well. Damage reduction, chain hit damage reduction, pierce reduction. It's just so many ways to defend these days. The rebalancing of defenses as a whole, like there's no telling how this stuff played out until people actually get out here and in real life, real world, test this shit and see what's what. So far, I've been seeing a little bit of various success. In folks like Destroyer and folks like Spidey specifically. I am kind of starting out slow with it because I don't want to just, we're going to re-roll all my ISO and now I'm stuck, right? Because I only got so much ISO to go around. It's a lot of characters to get to. But I was also thinking, with the advent of the second CTP system, it may not be a bad idea to spend 100 crystals on characters here and there to open them up a second ISO slot. Because Power of Angry Hulk just is not it's not necessarily the one size fit everybody, at least in my humble opinion, like we kind of thought it was. You know, it's either that or Overdrive, and then Overdrive kind of fell the way of the dinosaur with crafted stats because crit being so much easier to cap because of that. So and then Odin's and amplification on them, and Odin's glories and all of this stuff. So I mean, it's just so much going on. Balancing in terms of native tier 3s coming to the game. Like, there's a lot to consider. When you're talking finer, nuanced points of emphasis when it comes to when it comes to under the hood, you know what I mean? Tier 5 is still at least a year and a half away. They still have a lot of work to do. They do. They do. Now, the big question is, and this is why I keep coming back to this thing, so let me go ahead and get this pulled up. Because certain promises were made, right? So let me ask you this, Bubba, and anybody else in the chat, feel free to chime in on this as well. But you guys let me know, in terms of this right here. Let me kind of move the mini joint out the way a little bit. Okay, we can see everything pretty clearly now. Okay, so in terms of this, right? You see we got this list right here of, giant boss raids that were promised, right? So if that's the case, and all of this stuff was, promised, and then, they even go on to say, consequently, the number one ranked hero may not always, or character substitute for whichever one you feel, may not always be the first added to the game. Okay, so that being considered, anybody's up for grabs, right? And I feel a little less confident in Onslaught now, considering the way that X-Men 97 ended, but that's neither here nor there. I still don't think it's going to be Ego the Living Planet. I think Ego the Living Planet is going to be tier 5. Whenever we get him, that's when tier 5 is coming. That's my thought, right? But then you got Blackheart. Okay, Ghost Rider's coming. We know this. So that could very well be a thing. You got Shumaga Wrath. Doctor Strange 3 comes to mind when it comes to him. Onslaught, X-Men 97, and then Chaos King. Who knows, right? The point is, promises were made, and this looks like the tune of 5 new giant boss raids to me. So we'll have to wait and see how that all shakes out. I do believe we got Master Mode with Tier 3, and then we got Galactus not that long after. It was a couple of years, but not that long after. But he was still on the Tier 3 tip, right? Dropping Tier 3 books and all this stuff. Then we got Dormammu with Tier 4 and all of this sort of thing. So, we got that. We got the changes to game modes and improvements. They did do something with Shadowland already. They've kind of redone the rifts as well, taking them from 30 runs down to 10 and getting, even more rewards in a shorter amount of time. So that's great. Legendary battle, they haven't touched. So that's kind of interesting. Story, they haven't done a whole lot with it either. They did make it to where the heroes are non-committal. So you really just have to have the hero or villain unlocked in order to get the bonus, as opposed to actually having to take them through the stage in order to get the bonus. But other than that, that's the only improvement that they've really made to story. Dispatch, they dropped Sector 15. Right? And that's it. In terms of rewards, they have not reworked the reward table for Legendary Battle. They have for Shadowland, they kind of have for Dimension Rifts. Because you can get more Celestial Essence out of it. In terms of difficulty, I think with Rifts it was more so a time sink. I think with dispatch missions they can actually be difficult depending on your card level. The higher up you go, and then Legendary Battle, I don't see how Legendary Battle that is not difficult content at all. It's just paywall, but not difficult. Dimension Rift and Shadowland, and then story. So it's really only 4 game modes right there. And then that's the end of it. And then if we go back up here, we got we got a few of these to go through. So let's start from the bottom and work our way to the top. Most requested allies for new heroes. This is why I keep saying it's going to be a big year for mutants, because that's what they said and this is what they keep doing. So yeah. I do think they are going to do something for Inhumans pretty soon, other than just, a seasonal and all of this stuff. I think that's more so them taking advantage of the fact that the tagging and alliance battle is new, so they want to kind of twist that knife of you're either going to build Kamala Khan or you're going to build seasonal crystal, right? So I see something coming for that sooner rather than later. Because Crystal's kind of run her course as well. All right, let's rock it out. So yeah, and if we keep scrolling up here, and then in terms of creatures, they've done something for a couple of them, actually. Sentinel got a tier 4 in a uniform, so did Destroyer. So did Vision, so did Ultron. So judge it how you want. Heroes currently without a uniform in most need of one. So this one's kind of interesting because I got Molecule Man on here. And what's interesting about him is he is an epic quest character. You got my girl Valeria Richards right here. You also have a couple of paywall characters in Cassandra and Jubilee. You also have Sylvie, another paywall character. Valeria, I think like a semi-paywall or some shit like that. Ghost Panther, another paywall character, right? You can kind of see where I'm going with this. And then you have Wiccan and Viper. They may do something for Molecule Man more likely next. I kind of want to say, as far as this list is concerned, maybe they do Wiccan because he's so highly requested. I kind of feel like Ghost Panther is going to be either some sort of mid-month or a seasonal or something. I don't think they're going to do it like a full-on Warriors of the Sky update or not a Warriors. Well, no, actually they might do an Infinity Warps update because a bunch of them characters outside of Ghost Panther haven't gotten a uniform either. Iron Hammer has not gotten anything. Ghost Panther has not gotten anything. Arachnite's gotten a uniform or two. They haven't been that good. And then Weapon Hex got a zombie uniform that made her a tier 4. So, yeah, 1 out of 4. And then you got most requested new heroes. And you got my big boy Galactus up there. You also have Annihilus over there on the other end. Cloak and Dagger is making an appearance. Jeff the Landshark has been added to the game. Mr. Negative and Penny Parker are on the list as well as Nate Gray, Silver Surfer, Silver Sable. I'm sorry. Silver Surfer is wild. Silver Sable, Nate Gray, Vulcan, the other Summers brother, and Lady Bright rounding out the list. So, some interesting stuff and a bunch of promises kind of made. So we'll see, some of which they've made good on things like Jubilee and whatnot. But still a long way to go yet. But yeah, I think a lot of people kind of forget, like, man, they did make a lot of changes to game modes and updates and whatnot. It's like, yeah, they kind of have, bruh. They kind of have. You didn't see what I pulled up? This right here? You can't see that? The 11-year team development letter that dropped earlier this year, April 29th, about, a little under 4 months ago. Where they were talking about all of this, this is the direction of the game, and this is sort of roadmap-ish a little bit. So that's where a lot of this is kind of coming from. And it's not out of the realm of possibility. When I say, oh yeah, we're probably gonna get Onslaught, like this is why. We're probably gonna get Shumagarath and Blackheart, this is why. Ego the Living Planet is probably gonna hail the coming of Tier 5. Why? Because you're fighting a goddamn planet, this is why. So yeah, I mean, it's not, what bigger scale, right? Could you have than fighting an enemy planet? Most requested allies for for new heroes. Big year for mutants, as said by 3RL, right? Which is why I think that we're probably are going to get another, mutant-based update with Onslaught being down here and mutants being 23% of the vote, and then you come down and you also get consequently the number one ranked hero may not always be the first added. That kind of adds up and tracks with things that were said subsequently. You know what I mean? First time back in the stream. Yeah. But yeah, that's all. That's the only place that I kind of go with stuff like this. And I like to remind people, pretty readily and pretty regularly, because it helps us hold them to account. You know what I mean? Time's running out. And we still need that giant boss raid, maybe a world boss, definitely a new game mode, which they didn't expressly say anything about a new game mode, and I don't think when the questionnaire was originally posed, there was a question in there about a new game mode being added. So that's just wishful thinking on my part, honestly. But who knows? Maybe they do, Shadowland Plus Replay or Shadowland Extreme Replay, whatever they're calling that damn thing. Maybe we get something like that in the future. Maybe we get, more Shadowland stages of that with more rewards, especially as Tier 5 becomes a thing, right? And as characters just get stronger in general. That should be something, that should be a game mode they should consider doing a periodic reset on. And it doesn't have to be like, month or anything like that. It could be like every quarter. I think that would be dope. Every 2-3 months. Hey, Shadowland reset. Time to go pick up your. And who knows? Maybe that is the plan going forward to accelerate tier 4s. As tier 5 becomes a thing, and as they recognize that, hey, we can no longer make, this we can't gatekeep with this anymore, right? Ego should be better and more challenging. What is it they called him? All the squares need 3 wins to exit. Yeah. The part that kills me is when folks sit up here and they go, difficulty bad. You need to make this easier. And then they do, and then they're not satisfied that it's easier. They go, oh, you made it too easy. Well, maybe it was where it was supposed to be in the first place, right? Difficulty in terms of content is one thing. Difficulty in terms of character progression is another. Now, I'm not saying characters should just be a walk in the park to progress, but at one point it was like, yeah, it might take you 45 days to tier 4 a character. What? Now it's a lot faster. Yeah, now. You can probably get away with tier 4 in a character in about 18, 19 days. Depending on, what all materials you have access to, what all bosses you can fight and win, 5 times relatively easily. All of this sort of stuff. Yeah, that does make a difference. Don't get me wrong. Silver Samurai or Mao both have 6-star artifacts. Well, let's see. Silver Samurai's artifact. Non-enemy boss damage decrease, and then is that decrease or increase? Okay, ignore damage reduction, so damage increase. Ooh. So he does kind of help you out in terms of most Black Order allies. Here's the caveat though, right? That only applies to him. That only applies to him. And he gets this applies to universal types. Or applies to all allies, increased damage to universal types. And decreased damage from universal types. So I take that back. I will say this though. There are a couple of folks on this list. Like if I go to the Black Order tag, I always have trouble finding these damn things. There it is. I see 6 members. Right? Without Thanos, which is kind of a problem for me. Whereas, who else did you say? Now, yeah, he applies to more folks, but then his support passive, it's only gonna apply to Black Order allies. A lot of them aren't very strong, but if you cheer for him, you are kind of future-proofing your roster in a way. I think the odds that we get another Black Order update are pretty high, personally. They're gonna have to give Thanos an update at some point. He's just way too popular of a character. They did a whole Thanos and the Black Order World Boss update stage, right? Based on the new uniforms, and those characters seem stronger than the current members of the Black Order in certain circumstances, right? So, yeah. And then I don't think having Silver Samurai Tier 4 is going to make a whole hell of a lot of difference for you. Whereas with Maul, you at least have also a standalone DPS if you want to use him for, ABX, ABL sort of purposes. He can do some things for you in that game mode, so it's not a complete waste outside of the support. Whereas Silver Samurai is offering you the support and little else. And then even if you're talking about in terms of hold on. So even if you're talking about in terms of like some sort of standalone situation, they made this a counterattack, and because they did, actually, let's go into the skill training room. Because they did, unless you get hit, it creates an issue. And then if they hit has super guard break penetration and you don't have super guard break immunity up when you're getting hit, it creates a whole nother situation where the attack will never land. Right? Like you can actually be guard broken while you're standing there waiting to get hit. While you're standing there like that with the swords, you can actually still be guard broken if you're hit with something that can super guard break you or otherwise. So he's got a few things going on, and especially if those hits are multiple, not just a one-off, but if you're getting hit, like 50, 60 times, well, then you'll go to counter that first hit and then get super guard breaking before you can get the attack off. So, yeah. Hella is on the list too, but leaning towards the other two. Yeah. I would lean more heavily towards Maul. He's just a better all-around character. Plus the skills look fucking insane. I think that's the other thing that, like, if you still want to rock with this guy, the gameplay is gonna still amaze you. Yeah, you got the swing it around rock, right? Okay, that's cool. That's the second skill. You got the first skill, right? That's actually dope. For a first skill, that ain't bad. Now the third skill is where stuff starts getting all wild. The hands coming out with the puppet master, what you call that? And then Doctor Strange flying off. That's actually dope. Marionette. There you go. And then you got the tornado with the iframe on the 4. And it's a full iframe, just in case you guys are wondering. Sort of a full iframe on the 3, or partial on the 3 actually, because like that's when he reappears and jumps next to Doctor Strange. The iframe is ending, so yeah, there's that. On the 5th skill, you got the rain down, of course, and then the piece de resistance, the 6th skill, with the eyes in the background coming down. And then the SFX just make it even sicker. I don't think he has any SFX on anything except the 6, but we're gonna go look and see. If he does have anything, it'll probably be on the 3rd skill. Nope. He's got a fair amount of hits, and I'm not even sure I'm doing the rotation correctly. Okay, so 112, 113 hits. If you can get through it fast enough. Yeah. That's nasty. Like either way you want to slice that, I don't care. And then he may be one of those characters where actually having the SFX off might increase his hit count a little bit. Or maybe I'm supposed to. Yeah, there we go. You gotta watch when you need to cancel. That's the only thing. Yeah, because otherwise you're not gonna see the odds pop up. But yeah. Yeah, that's who I would. I mean, especially if you have the general's hand. Yeah, I would definitely lean more his way. Now, if you don't have the general's hand, that kind of changes things a little bit because he doesn't have nearly the DPS potential. In the other outfit. So let's go ahead and jump back into it. Did that meter start like halfway down? Okay. Yeah, we tried. Think I would have got the 13 mil if yeah, this is the day that I need my girl. Or Aries, either or. Okay, so I've been sitting here trying to figure out how I'm going to do this, and what I am going to do is I'm going to give one of these to him for now, and then I'm going to hold on to the other one because there are so many characters that need a rage. All right. All right. All right. Looks like I might be able to get to 8 million. Have to wait and see though. It's 7.4. Thought I got Storm out there, I'd have got it. She would have been enough to push me over the top. Hey, I will take that. What is that? Crit damage? Instinct crit? Not bad, not bad. And that was for getting Drax's saxophone. Cool. I am here for it. Oh, time to get another GBR. And shoot a shot to the symbiote game, baby. But yeah, if I were you, bub, I would be leaning more toward that tier 4 mall, my man. Okay, spoilers be damned. X-Men 97. Now I can give you a spoiler review. Right quick. It ended in a very anticlimactic way. In my opinion. Like for all the hell they went through, it was just you're expecting to see something epic and you don't. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of, and bear with me, if you've watched the movies, I had to because I have a wife. But then you do too. So, yeah. The Twilight series. The way that ended, and finding out all of that shit was a vision, it kind of reminded me of that. Not that visions or anything like that played a part, but it just reminded me of that. I had that same sort of taste in my mouth at the end. It was like, oh, so this shit just didn't even happen. Okay. This is what we doing now? Whereas this was kind of in reverse. It was like, oh, okay. So this is what we doing now. Like, and to see how it unfolded and the look and all of this stuff, and it's like, oh shit, we about to see some turn up. Like they sold the sale on it was really, really high. And now I know everybody in regards to that character will be like, oh, I want this look in the game. I want this look in the game. Word? Are you sure? And they did my guy Kurt dirty. So now I'm of the mindset of we'll probably never get justice for Nightcrawler. But he does still have to get tier 4. So that does say something at least, maybe. I don't know. Why am I sitting up here riding around with all of this in the stash? But as far as the start, they got off to a rip roaring start. Never seen it and probably won't. Okay, your wife hates vampires. Thinks they're lame. But like the Strange show, that's wild. Yeah, for some reason, my wife is into fucking vampires. It's like, okay, well, let's watch Blade. You know I was going there, right? But now that Underworld, yeah, I've seen them shit so many times it's not even funny. We both like Harry Potter. I like Star Wars, Star Trek, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Thundercats. And maybe a particular turtle or two franchise. So we wound up introducing each other to a lot, and we wound up finding a lot of shit together. So also dope. Oh, and then of course Avatar: The Last Airbender, Naruto. Like it's a lot in there. It's so much in there. It's not even funny. Now, what I can't get her to watch is anime. And I don't even watch a lot of anime, but she did watch Demon Slayer though. She did watch that. So it's like, well, if I can find another one of that caliber, which I know they're far and few between, then maybe, just maybe. But it was Nezuko really that got her. That's what hooked her. let's rock these up. So we can get us some story fragment farming and hopefully get us some action and some more P cards, possibly CTPs, whatnot. Oh, is this all three of them? Yeah. Okay, I need to rock the other squad then. Yeah, I need to rock the other squad for story fragment farming. So we can really blow through this. Yeah, nah, I feel you there. We're homeboys. We like each other's. We like each other, and not many people. Yeah, like me and my wife are like that, but we got like, certain partners, whatnot. But like her friend circle is really, really small. My friend circle has always been small. Like the people I truly, truly mess with like that. So but I feel you. People are just like that, man. Come around because of the convenience for them of one sort or another. I like people. I like to entertain. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it's also like, I don't know. I ain't doing that for everybody. And I ain't doing it just to be in folks' face. You know what I mean? I'm pretty content to do my own thing. And besides, people these days are crazy as hell. And then the other thing is when you got a family and kids, you're built a little different, right? Your responsibilities are way different than, say, somebody that's single with no kids, right? So, y'all ain't living the same lifestyle, because if you was, they'd understand shit. Them kids gotta go to school in the morning, you gotta get your ass up and go to work in the morning. Right? But if it's just you, well, shit, you can stay up to the crack of dawn, do what you want to do, and yeah. Crack ass of dawn time. What you mean? You can stay up to the crack of dawn's ass. However you want to put it. I like that last one though. That last one is, yeah, that's write that shit down. Save it, notarize it. Hey. True that. We have a smallish group of friends that are family couples. Yeah. Times of year, summer, spring ass cracking. Yeah. I mean, during that school year though, hey, them times is gonna be a little more far and few between, weekends here and there. Like I got a partner I talk to on a regular on the weekends. Excuse me. He's got kids, so and all his kids older than mine. So, but I mean, we've been friends for forever. You know him, Jackass, Treasy. But I mean, me and him, we're more like brothers than homeboys. You know what I mean? We grew up that way, so that's just what that is. And he's the same way. He fuck with people, but friend circle's pretty small. Ain't trying to be in everybody's face. Ain't trying to show out all the damn time. Yeah, that does kind of suck. Um, like I got a few friends that are gamers, but they ain't they ain't built like us. You know what I mean? Like nothing against them, none of that. But I know, like I did a 7 hour stream the other day. You know what I mean? Without breaking a sweat. And I could really go through a lot of different games, or I could just stay on one game for a minute. It doesn't bother me one way or the other, right? So yeah. Like I just like to do and play a lot of different shit. As long as it's interesting. You know what I mean? But I got some choice classics I wanna bring eventually. And I think you guys will enjoy that. Games like I don't know, Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, and 3. The newer ones, right? With the updated graphics and whatnot. Double Dragon. That's another one that I could do. We've done a little bit of Shank. That's a pretty cool little game. I wouldn't mind doing some Ragdoll Kung Fu. That's actually a pretty cool ass game on the PS5 or the PS4, I think originally. Might have even been the PS3. Maybe some Tony Hawk Pro Skater or something like that. If I can get my hands on like a Dave Mura, that would be nice. If I could get my hands on a PlayStation 2 and get the hookups I need to plug it into the Elgato so I can broadcast it, I would love to bring you guys some Bloody Roar, specifically Bloody Roar 2 content. The first one was nice. The second one was way better. Y'all will probably be like, oh, the graphics are rudimentary. Yeah, but the combo system is absolutely dope. I love it. And for certain characters, it could get really intricate. For the amount of buttons that you had at your disposal, that were actually like usable as attacks and things like that. By that same token, if I got my hands on a PS2, Soul Calibur 2 specifically, I know I played some of the newer joint on her a little bit, I think. If not, I can and show you the get down. But yeah. I think I've brought y'all some Tekken. I think I was better at Soul Calibur 2 than I was at Tekken though. We could play through the Kingdom Hearts series. I do have access at that. We could play through the Batman Arkham series. That would be nice. And not too far off from the Spider-Man franchise. Of course, all of the Marvel or the Capcom-based Marvel games. So, X-Men Children of the Atom, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom 1, 2, 3, and Infinite. All of them. Well, not so much Infinite, but definitely Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2 specifically. I could also bring 3. And then that little souped up version of 3 that they had before Infinite. 3 Ultimate or some shit. Yeah, X-Men Legends, I could definitely do that. Your boy was cold with a lot of different people on there, including Nightcrawler. One of the few fighting games that he's actually in where it makes sense. I would have to get back down with that mechanic though, because it's been a while since I've even got on any of that. So it would have to come back to me. But it would. I could also bring y'all some Killer Instinct. Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi. Yeah, and get you some of that too. Notice I haven't said Madden. Notice I haven't said NBA. Notice I haven't said soccer, hockey, baseball. No sports. Maybe some racing. Maybe some Gran Turismo. Maybe some Forza. If I'm feeling froggy, a need for speed, but yeah. Oh, and they had Clarkson, Hammond, and May on that one Forza where they were narrating the shit. Oh, that shit was fucking. That was Chef's Kiss. I'm sorry, it just was. Yeah, you could have tuned some of the cars a little bit different, where the responses on them weren't so herky jerky in some situations, specifically the Ariel Atom, but the game was so good, and then the narration behind it. When you go into the different classes and they're telling you about them, or when you're investigating a specific car, or the game intro itself, with those three guys narrating it, Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, and James May from Top Gear. Oh, bro, that shit was fucking phenomenal. It made you feel like you were doing something a little more special. In my best impersonation, like a motherfucker. Yeah, that was dope too. But then, being able to outrun the cops and all of that, that's dope until it's not. That's also a mechanic that you could probably add to any other racing game, like a Forza, and it would be just fine. And I think at some point they kind of did. But that narration over the top with them three guys, man, say, that's some golden shit right there. And it was on so many levels. From talking about the raceways, and then that's something else that Forza had that Need for Speed didn't. The raceways, the actual real life places like Imola and the Nürburgring and Spa and all of these places. The Burmese Alps, I forgot about that. The old original God of Wars. I can actually bring y'all that because I never really got too deep into that series, honestly. And I played the first one. I liked the game mechanics of Devil May Cry a lot better in turn, but I like the graphics and shit on God of War a lot better. But for me, gameplay is always gonna take top dog. You know what I mean? I prefer a very fluid combat style. So if I can cancel, if I can, switch cancel from one weapon to another, or one weapon type to another, or one style to another, to be able to move or get out of the way, dodge or block or parry or whatever. Or teleport. I love teleports. Nightcrawler is my favorite for a reason. So yeah, that sort of shit is like, yeah, I can work with that, because you're gonna have a problem with that over here shit. Like Rock Lee, it's essentially a fucking teleport. You know what I mean? Oh, Le Mans. How did I forget about Le Mans? Nürburgring Prague. That was the name of that fucking track that I loved so much. I couldn't think of that one either. Fucking Prague. And then they had the Top Gear test circuit. Oh, Yas Marina. Yeah, forgot about Yas Marina. Oh, and Laguna Seca. My favorite track with the corkscrew turn. That's gonna handle you. That's gonna test your driving right there. Can you handle Laguna Seca? You can handle Laguna Seca, you can drive. Circuit de Catalunya. Like all of these. Circuit de Spa Francorchamps. That's Spa. Like all of these real deal international raceway circuits. Yeah. Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. From Switzerland to Spain. To the US, to France, to Belgium, Australia, Germany, the Czech Republic, England. Like, you got you some tracks on here. Silverstone. And then every single track had multiple configurations. So, that just made it even better. Then you can run them forward, reverse, which, of course, right? But you gotta handle your business. Yeah, I could definitely bring you some racing. Yeah, we had a little company retreat over the weekend. Well, it wasn't a retreat. It was they took us to a little spot. And there was a bunch of games, kind of like a big ass putt sort of place. One of the games they had inside was an indoor go-kart track, to which my boss had been challenging me all week to racing, And my older coworker works at another facility now. Yeah, so I had to get on the track and whoop ass a little bit, but yeah, we did that. I didn't pass everybody, but I did pass them. So let it be on the record that 8-bit whoops ass on the go-kart track. Back to you, Tim. But yeah, don't really like the mechanics of the new God of War. Yeah, I feel you. The old God of War speed and mode over tanky of the new ones, man, say, don't even get me started with some of these new game mechanics. It's like certain games you can tell. Like take Spider-Man for instance, right? 'Cause it's a good reference point because we played it here on the channel. There is a lot that can be done with one attack button, one interactive jump button, one web attack button, for lack of better expression, to grab, join, or whatever, and the dodge mechanic, right? And all of that interactivity and the way that they incorporate that, if you're paying attention, when you're doing certain stuff, you can do other things. Like a lot of that, when I have a guy in the air from, say, a uppercut or whatever, and I jump up to follow and start doing a combo, or I pull myself towards him or whatever, if you hit the jump button at that moment, you'll go on the other side of him and kick him in the back. That's still damage, especially if you kick him into something. Or if I use that to propel myself into something, a flat vertical surface that I can stick to, perhaps, and come off with a punch at that little Superman joint that you see me do all the time. That's how. Same button, but realizing the attack that's going to come based on the situation, which I kind of like because it's different and it forces you to think differently. Like, baby, you gotta count your combos. Like, you're counting the number of hits when you need to count the number of times that it's required for you to push that button to get that number of hits. Once you get to that, oh, you got yourself something. Very simple stuff. And it's all about basic. And that's why I like that other game that I want to bring y'all, Bloody Roar. Suffice to say, I had a character on there who had a combo that was so detailed and so intricate, I did not have to stop the combo until I got ready. Regardless. and it wasn't a wash, rinse, repeat sort of situation. It kind of was in a way, but I'm gonna explain it to you, right? And give me 1 second. This guy right here, that was my boy, Long, and his counterpart, Shenlong. This here, this is Long. This is Shenlong. That's Shenlong. That's Shenlong. Right? And the whole premise of the game was every character in the game could turn into an anthropomorphized animal, right? In Long's case, he would turn into, in Long and Shenlong's case, they would both turn into tigers, right? From the first game, Shenlong was the hidden character, okay? When you read the book on this guy, it says he is one of the most difficult characters in the game to master. But once you do, he's kind of stupid. And I must say, they were not lying. No pun intended, because he's a tiger, but lion, yeah. Yeah, so let me get some stuff pulled up right quick. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So when I show y'all this shit, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? This is his combo. Yeah. This is the combo right here. So let me so we're gonna read through. Single cobalt, rebellious kick, horny mouse attack, whip tail, right? And what this is the direction of press. So the way that it worked was with him. And I can just explain this for you real quick because it's a lot, right? And if I was to read through this whole thing, it makes absolutely no sense. But this, I figured out, is a big ass chain, right? So I can keep this going. And the thing is, it's not just the forward X, forward square, down X, down square, right? Because if you read here, it says you can start the combination with any move listed on the right, then begin. The beginning move you choose depends on the Dervering hookup. Once started, you can advance through the moves in one direction only, either left or right. Down also counted. Neutral also counted. right? And then these are the finishers, of course. You can end with any ending move, but you cannot use the same move twice. Now, this is the thing right here, because this is very important. This is what allows you to keep your combo going, that you can't use the same move twice. What I figured out was, right, you have down square, down X, and you only had punch and kick, right? Square and X. So you had neutral, square X, forward, square X, down, square X. Then you also had back, square X. So that's 5 different attacks, but it's doubled, so it's 10. I can't follow a square with a square. I can't follow an X with an X. And I can't follow the same direction twice. Right? Once I figured that shit out, oh, it became a different level problem combination that I can do what I want, when I want, how I want it, and mix the flip and open you up and bust you all up down through there. And these weren't the only openers that he had. So, yeah, he became a next level problem. I got a story, but I ain't gonna tell it till you see me in action. Then we gonna talk about it. Your beast mode in the game built up like a super meter. And once you used it, you could stay in that beast form. That beast form energy that you capped up would become your health. Right? Once you got your beast mode knocked off of you, revert back to your regular form. Okay? So that was kind of the caveat. I think the beast healed you as well going in that form, as long as you weren't taking damage or some stuff. It was something. I don't know. I got figured out. But it was very useful. Okay? I was notorious for not using my beast form and whooping ass. Notorious. All because of mastering that right there. That man was a whole different kind of can of worms. Wasn't nothing nice. And I liked it a lot. You see what they calling it here? A 6-level combo ring. Yeah. You could just come down through there any kind of way you wanted. He was dumb. Him and Long, Shenlong, and Yuriko. See there? See? See? See what that say? Long, Shenlong, Yuriko. Yeah, that's her. That's him. And that's the OG. That's the one I figured out the game with at first. And then it became a problem. Then Bloody Roar 2 came out and Shenlong became a playable character. And Yuriko, who was the boss on the first one, also became a playable character, and they gave her that 6-ring combo, and they changed the character all the way up. It's not the same Yuriko, but it is. It's weird. It's weird. It's game logic, right? But yeah. Oh, you like? Oh, you played that? Yeah, the daughter of the lion guy, Sheena, I think was her name. Yeah, she was a beast. And that one dude, the chameleon, I kind of liked him. I liked him because he was unorthodox. He was very unorthodox, and I like unorthodox sometimes. Like Uzizima, I think was his name. I could play with him, but I couldn't play with Valdo from Tekken. Essentially the same freaking character. They both fight with their back turned. I could also play with oh, what was the old girl's name? Ling Zhao Yu. Fight with her back turned. Valdo was Soul Calibur. But yeah, couldn't play with him. But Ivy from Soul Calibur 2, oh yeah, you finna get the business. And then once you get past her, because see, everybody thought, oh, Ivy your favorite character. No, Ivy's the character that you have to get past. See, once you make it past her, oh, I got something for you. I got a lineup. Maxie with the nunchucks. If I'm feeling froggy enough, Keelik with the staff. Good go-to back in the day. Zhonghua with the Wu-Tang sword style. She comes down through there. I had a nice lineup. Nightmare, the big boss. And he whooped a whole case of ass. Wasn't no 6-pack, wasn't no 12-pack, wasn't no 24-pack. It was a whole pallet of cases. 2, 3 of them. Drinking beer and whooping ass. And I'm fresh out of beer. I'm telling you. But now Bloody Roar, I used to do people dirty, for real. It wasn't even that shit I was doing should have been illegal. That shit should have been illegal in all 50 states. I'm just telling you. Because you being familiar with the game, I'm sure you've seen or maybe went back and watched some gameplay footage and this sort of stuff. I guarantee you, because I've looked, you will not find a better Shenlong player. I haven't. And it's a lot of games I sit up there and just say, hey man, I'm not the best at this or that. yeah, I guarantee you it might take me a couple rotations or whatnot to get my feet back under me on a game like that I haven't played in a minute. But boy, when I do, it's gonna be a sight to behold. And the nasty thing is, I didn't have to do no juggling or none of these old cheap ass mechanics. I want you on your feet. I want you to take the whole ass whooping now. I want you to take a piece of it, a glancing blow. No, I need you to take this whole doo-wop. Because I need you to understand. See? Haven't thought about that game in a very long time. The PS1, 2, and 3. Yeah. Yeah, it's Bloody Roar 1, 2, 3, and I think they did Bloody Roar 4. And then the franchise just fizzled out. But one of the great fighting game mechanics and concepts, and sorely underappreciated, so that's one of the ones I want to. I've been like, man, I need to get a hold of a PS Deuce and go find this game, maybe 2-3 copies of each, and just, hey, we finna hit you with the throwback Thursday or whatever. But of course, I gotta get all of the hookups and connects and whatnot, converters, and like I gotta see what. I don't even know the best way to go about doing that. Like some of that older shit is like not HDMI. And I like to have the OG shit. I don't like emulators like that. I know a lot of people are just, oh, well, just go get an emulator. I would if I don't have another choice, but if I can find it on wax and it's 100, I would much rather go about it that way. I got a few local shops I'm gonna hit up